cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button. I haven't smacked a woman. I was a junior high school substitute teacher during a strike once when I went a junior high school. Okay, and there was a girl in the front. There was a girl in the front row who kept sitting like this. You know, junior high school this is. And so I said, "Young lady, could you please?" You know, and she said, "Oh," and she, "Hi, cutie." Now I'm a college student, and she came up, and I told her I'm reporting you to the girls' vice president. She came up and slapped me. And I slapped her back.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
And I slapped, no, I didn't slap her in the ass. No, I slapped her in the face. She slapped me. But when I see him,
he's irritating.
Well, no, not just that. Well, he's cocky now. He is. Well, when you get in your fucking $1 million race car, and when you get in your fucking jet plane, yeah, and he's only 20, you know, plus everybody's blowing smoke up his ass. I mean, everybody on the planet is blowing smoke up his ass. As being, you know, a child prodigy, but fortunately he says, this is the man that, when he points at me, you know, that's fine. But it's just I wouldn't sell to him. I wouldn't. But everybody else would.
Is that the reason he couldn't close the big deal? Because he was too young? Is that what?
Well, that's part of it. But I mean, no, but it was a cross-border shit, like I explained earlier.
Do you see any kind of lack of respect for the other guy?
Well, no, he's got a lack of respect. I mean, he talks to the people like they're dog shit. I mean, he's got no fucking respect. Zero. To them, just like when I look at you, I look at a $, a euro sign, a pound sign, unfortunately a peso sign, which is, there's no rupee signs in here. No rupees this time, right? No rupee sign. Okay. He just looks at him like cannon fodder now. Yeah.
He mentioned that he bought 3 deals, and then he went and refinanced the 3 deals to acquire 2 more.
Yep.
Did he cross-collateralize all 5?
No, he didn't.
He did it with an SBA.
Correct.
And was that a non-recourse?
Well, now he's beyond the SBA. Yeah. No. He wasn't using non-recourse money. No, he hasn't. He has not used non-recourse money. But he is now not guaranteeing. Once you have some assets, you might have to guarantee something in the beginning. But after you've got some assets, fuck you. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not. You know, in the beginning, I guaranteed 3 or 4 loans. It's literally decades ago now. And but once you get on the line, they always come back and ask you. It's one of their. It's in their template. Well, you know, yeah. Can we get a guarantee from this meathead? You know. But what else? I mean, yes, sir, in the back.
What do you recommend to make the wisest hiring decisions?
Well, no, mistakes. That's the only way you get good at hiring people is hiring shitty people.
Can you use that in the U.S.?
Oh no! Well, this is wherever you are. I mean, I know how to hire because I've hired bad people, and early in my career, I haven't hired anybody bad. I mean, in a long time. Bad meaning they didn't do what they led me to believe they could do more than they could do. Is normally, and because talk's cheap, and resumes mean nothing. But I call. Who did you report to at Bank of America? Sally. This is Dan. Oh, a long time now, 20 years. I know. You know, I got a young kid here named. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, we let him go. That's all I need to know. Thank you very much. I don't want to know why they let him go. Click.
How many deals did he close so far?
7, 8. 7, 8.
Yeah, the big ones. Big ones.
Yeah.
All healthcare.
All healthcare. But he's got. I mean, he's buying stuff at less than 1 EBITDA. Yeah, I mean, his deals are shit and money. Shit money.
Buying them at a discount.
Yep.
What dollar value would you say those 8 deals are?
25
million total.
No, not rupees. Rupees. Yeah, total. No, pesos. Peso, fucking comedian. Okay, so other than it's easy. I mean.
You will figure it out when you get.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. You will figure it out, but you don't have confidence in yourself that you're going to figure it out. That's why the difference. That's the difference. He tells he sold a lot of people. You'll figure it out. And no, but how did you do it? And you will figure it out. And you learn, the learning experience stays with you because it's painful in some cases. Better if you've made the decision, you've lived through the error, and more importantly, you fix the error. And when you're going to ask me questions on your weekly report, you ask me whatever it is. I already told you this. If I put in big red font, asked and answered, that means I'm not going to answer it. And then let's say there's a question that kind of we didn't cover. It's not likely, and then what is your first best answer? Second, I told you the second, third best answer. And then normally within the three answers that you have is the right answer. So then I highlight it, or I add a fourth thing. No, this, you forgot this. You must have been fucking asleep, but this is the answer. And I give you the answer. Now, once you've got on board, I'll ask you, what did your board say? Remember, I've already been through this. What did your board say? And then you'll go and ask the board. But you should, if you're not using them. Now, he made a mistake because in his naivete in his teen years, he made poor choices for people on his dream team based on the experience. If you don't have a dream team to ask, what do we think about this dream team? Okay. And so he's gone through a bunch of people. But he still succeeded. Don't focus on the fact that he's gone through a bunch of people. Don't focus on the fact that, he's had to buy back equity. I mean, he got fucking rich as a teenager. What were you fucking doing? I mean, Jesus Christ. Yes, sir.
Should you look at offers, at deals, if you don't have the board complete, 100%?
Oh, I say no. Yeah, I say no, because you get ahead of yourself. Remember I kept saying you go from step 1 to step 5? That's step 1 to step 6. That's the Roma way.
The Chicago way.
You talk about buying stocks in the company initially.
No. There's two ways to buy companies. There's you buy the corporate entity. The corporate entity, no matter what it's called. In Germany, it may be a GmbH. In America, Subchapter S, C Corp, LL, Limited Liability Company, Limited Liability Partnership. You're buying the assets. When you buy that company, that entity, you get all the past, current, and future liabilities. Okay? If they hadn't paid taxes and you missed it in your due diligence, if they got property liens and you missed it in your due diligence, they're going to come back and they're going to ask you for the money. The second way to buy is buy assets only outside the corporate entity. You rip the assets.
So you don't take the liabilities.
Okay, but you don't take the liabilities. But as he said, transferring permits, etc., in the healthcare industry is a bitch. You may apply for them and not ever get them. So almost all the assets that are bought in healthcare are bought in corporate entities because they want the permits and all the things that they've gotten over the years.
And he said you could get your lawyer to make sure the seller's on the hook for any loss.
Correct. Now, whether the seller agrees to that, it's easy to write it in the contract. And if, we're not agreeing for that shit.
If he said there's no liabilities and you say, no, I'm not signing it means...
Well, then next.
Yeah, it means something to hide.
Well, no, some people won't sign that shit just in general principle. And then next, but you've worked 30 days, 3 days, 4 months to get this fucker to the table to sign, and now he's going to walk out of the door because you normally cave. Cave meaning acquiesce to his requests.
Has it ever happened where they, in the medical industry, they've got the permits on one entity and they operate in another?
Yeah, but that's not legal. I mean, the entity that is running that substance abuse, that entity that's running that home care, has got those permits and they've applied for those permits and they've taken tests. And normally the companies have a designated person that is responsible for the government permit. And make sure that's not the first guy you fire or gal. Check to see. I've done that. I fucked up years ago. I didn't check to see who the name of the shit was in, and it was the first guy I threw out the door. So I went with my hat in my hand, eating fucking dog shit.
Did you hire him back?
Yes, I did. I did. Rather than wait 9 months to see that I might not get approved anyway. So he became my fair-haired boy. Fair-haired boy. And then I remember him saying, well, why are we getting 2 more people registered with the same qualifications I have? Oh, just in case something happens to you. Yeah. So you buy buying the assets. It's still producing the same cash flow, but it doesn't have the corporate entity. Okay, but the challenge is that when you buy the corporate asset, you have those liabilities, the potential liabilities. But if you're rolling up stuff that doesn't have permits and that, it's better to buy assets. And now, in a strict asset purchase, they're supposed to leave the cash. They're supposed to leave the accounts receivable, but they don't. They may leave the accounts receivable, but they rarely leave the cash in.
Can we discount it from the sales?
Of course you can. Yeah, of course you can. But whether they agree with the price discounted, some of not these guys, but you'll buy a $10 million company that's got $3 million in cash. And so he'll say, "Fuck you! I'm not going to reduce the sales price," because the real essence of these purchases is the cash flow that they're going to produce going forward. We're measuring them on the last 2, 3, 4 years cash flow, but it's you want them to be still in the same position or a better position with you managing, that they're going to produce even more cash flow. Yes, ma'am.
He talked about purchasing companies that have synergies and ancillary value.
Well, he's at a different step. He's, that's right. And now he's going to, another thing that he looked at to bolt on is medical billing. Not just supplies. There's a lot, once you get going, once you have momentum, you have some mass, that's exactly correct. And your industry experts, your CEO, et cetera, the people that are, they're running or are at the board level will be able to tell you, really, is that really synergistic or isn't it synergistic? Yes, sir.
How could it take the cash out if you're buying all current assets at that day of?
Because it's producing cash every month.
It's a different account. It's a bank account.
Yeah, it's a bank account.
But if you're buying all the current assets at that day, the money's in the bank.
Yeah, but but from day 2, it's producing new cash flow. That cash flow is all yours. Yeah.
Can you have them sign documentation at the signing to say, have you made any transactions since, let's just say, in the past 24 hours?
Yeah, you can. And then they won't steal the dividend, they pay themselves a dividend taken out of working capital. That's exactly right. Yeah.
But the bank account is registered under the vendor's name.
Yeah, but then
nothing to do with you.
No, I understand that. But the day on January, you buy it January 1, January 2. You're there at night changing all the names and the signatures for the accounts, but it's still in the name of ABC Company.
You open a new bank account.
Well, you can, but that fucks up all your suppliers. That fucks up everything. I mean, your food chain. So you will open up new bank accounts, but not to do business with everybody, because for a transition. But you don't want your employees' paychecks to bounce. You don't want this. You don't want that. Yeah, ma'am. Again.
A letter to the bank letting them know prior?
Sure. Well, I don't like letters or email. I go to the bank, and you sit there, transfer.
Right away.
Yeah, right away.
With your gun. With your gun.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That is Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, in person. Yeah, in the back.
Sir, so we're not going to buy businesses that are 2, 3, 4 years old. We're going to buy businesses that are...
Well, it may... No, that's not true. They may be 2, 3, 4 years old, and they're up to here. They had it. It was, it's like assisted living bedpans. They didn't know they were going to have to deal with dead bodies. No, that's not in the sales brochure. They never mention sales brochure, that you're going to have, you're going to lose 5 to 15% of your patients every month. So some people just say, fine, after 2, 3 years, I had it. Or they're getting a divorce. Or their kids that said when they got out of school they were going to come and help them, the kids decided not to. There's a lot of different reasons. But normally, they're in the business 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Normally.
He said he still struggled to get money even though he had 3 acquisitions.
Correct. I believe in one case the bankers were jealous There were young kids in the banking, on the banking side. And he's not that polite, so I mean, he could piss off people.
When there's revenue, too much revenue coming from one source, like Medicare, when it was 90% plus or 100%.
One was 100, and the bank didn't like that. But why would the bank vary between 92% or 100%? It's the same difference. So they were just looking for reasons to not to do the deal. But you don't know the risk profile of that bank manager or the bank. You don't know. They may have taken a hit for $2 billion in pardon?
For the risk profile?
Yeah, but no, they don't publish their risk profile. They don't say they do mark their portfolio to the market. So you know if their assets, the bank's assets, are going up and down in value, but they don't tell you they just lost $500 million on a home health care. So we're not looking at home health care right now. But that's why you say, are you in a lending mode? Healthcare, lending mode, my vertical, whatever your niche is. And so you qualify before you go down there and send the executive summary and go through the hocus pocus and drawing them in to see you. I mean, set them up like, well, you've heard at E&Y or the club you can't afford. And you're interviewing them just like chopped liver. I mean, God damn it. I mean, one after another. It's, and he goes to dinners and shit. Well, he's there alone. So, I mean, he's filling up his time. But I didn't do that. I believe there's not much accomplished. And as soon as you start drinking and eating, there's not much accomplished. And nobody likes to eat and drink better than me. If you want to just drink, let's go on the piss, as they say here. Let's fuck the food part. We'll eat some pretzels. But because the biggest reason is that I am very lucid even when I've had a lot to drink. Most people aren't. They forget. They agree to this, they agree to that, and then you get the first draft from their lawyers. It's not even reasonably close because he had been drinking.
Before drink, do everything.
Well, no. Why drink at all? Okay, I meet people for drinks, but we're not there talking business. I'm not there talking business. And back in the 80s, a lot of deals went sideways because things that were agreed, 2 o'clock in the morning at so-and-so club, here in this country, they used to do it at Stringfellows in London, which was the hot place to go to. And all kinds of deals were made. And then when when you got the drafts from the lawyers, it didn't even look like. I mean, he's from Venus and I'm from Mars.
And you give up too much when you're too much.
Yeah, well, see, that's exactly right. You get slappy happy because alcohol, two different kind of things. I mean, you either get Ayatollah Khomeini like me, or you get slappy happy, you want to make a deal. So I've been known to get aggressive. So that's also not a good combination. But there are places, there are people in 2019, don't trust people that don't drink. And I know there's medical reasons, and okay, that's great. Yeah, go cry at your 12-step meeting. I don't give a fuck. Okay? But there's a lot of guys on this planet that will not do business with somebody who doesn't drink. I never trust a man or a boy that didn't fucking drink with me.
Trump doesn't drink.
Huh?
Trump doesn't drink.
I know he doesn't. He doesn't drink. He doesn't drink.
You don't trust him.
Yeah, well, then you don't trust him. Trump doesn't drink because his brother was an alcoholic, died, 15, 20, 30 years ago. But I mean, I'm not saying that that's right, but there are people. Well, when Sally and I were on our last cruise, 6-8 months ago, there were 2 old boys from Texas, oil guys. And one of them had been the intern to T. Boone Pickens. And T. Boone Pickens was just getting sick before he died, because he died a few weeks ago. And he was saying that what a hard ass, and they call him Boone. Boone was. And so we're sitting there kind of canning over the table. I said, excuse me, are you referring to T. Boone Pickens? And he says, yeah. He says, well, about 35 plus years ago, T. Boone told me, Danny, if you want to do a deal bad enough, you'll do a bad deal. I never forgot that as long as I live, because I was really stretching to get a deal done under my own belt, that I could, part of my track record, not part of the bunker twins, brothers, not twins, brothers. And I remember him telling him that because there was 4 or 5 guys bidding for the assets. And he said, Danny, if you want to do a deal bad enough, you'll do a bad fucking deal.
And you want us to get a deal right away.
Yeah, just like I'm telling you this for a reason on the last afternoon. For a reason, pendejo. Okay? You're going to be out there desperate to do a fucking deal. You know, I don't know what it used to be when bars used to close at 2 o'clock. About 1:35, I'd start looking around, honing in like a drone, you know, okay? And by that time, the skags are there.
Too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Around 11 and 12.
Yeah. You're exactly right. You got to look.
Tipsy
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah, and but you're going to want to do You're going to want to do a deal, come hell or high water. And when you stay within the parameters that you've been taught, you won't do a bad deal. But whenever you write me this shit, but whenever you put the fucking but, you're saying, but this is different because that's bullshit. It's not different. When you stay within the parameters and the things, and you stay within the templates, and you don't guarantee them the moon, etc., you won't do a bad deal. You won't do a bad deal. But I know, you know, it's been a long time since I did my first deal, but I remember, and I still remember to this day what Boone Pickens told me, you know, and I was just a kid, and he was known as a hard ass because he was a hard ass. But all those guys are hard asses. What else? Okay, yes, sir.
About the board members, are we looking for a specific time commitment from them when we're recruiting them?
It's in your templates, but the bottom line is the requirement will change as we gain momentum and gain cash flow. But in the beginning, it's probably, this is in your shit too, it's, 5 hours a month. It's nothing. Okay? Because you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off looking for deals. And then, your time commitment is 82 zillion hours. But theirs, and then when you get the deal, the summary sheet. Now this is before term sheet. This is you getting the summary of the deal, and you think it looks okay. Okay, it kind of looks like 4.5 times cash flow. Then you send it around to the board members. This is one of the deals that I'm considering pursuing that I would bring to a board meeting down the road. What do you guys? You don't say it that way. Dr. So and so, what do you think? General so and so, what do you think? What do you think? And they'll come back with sometimes really detailed analysis. That's good, but most of the time it looks good. But I check, what is the aging of their accounts receivable? Aging meaning are they 10 days out or 310 days out? And a lot of the kids, and apparently they don't teach that in the B schools anymore. Aging of receivables. You got, 5 million in receivables, but 4 million are 9 years old. They're worth nothing. You can wallpaper, wipe your ass, you can do, but they're worth nothing. That's, yes, sir.
6 months is your receivable.
No.
When I say like, that you could.
No, the Peña rule of thumb, if they're over 90 days. Now, if you're dealing with the government, the government always pays, but they pay slow. They stretch. The big companies almost always pay, but they pay slow. Slow meaning 150 days, 180 days is not unusual. But they pay. They pay. Now, the slip shots you're doing business with want to pay in 180 days, maybe. Maybe they'll pay in 180 days. But when we looked at doctors' accounts receivable, they're single practitioner doctors that are just there for the love of God or the love of somebody, the love of medicine or helping people. That they don't even have a billing system. They don't have resources. Yeah, well, they don't hire somebody to be able to send out invoices and then follow up. If the person that sends out invoices is not the person that also follows up, when the fucking money coming in, Not like that, but I mean...
Just that alone, there's probably 10, 15%.
Yeah, well, it's actually probably more, up to 25%. But you can always, I'm not suggesting you factor or leverage your invoices. Yeah, well, you can do that, but let's just make it simple. Yes, sir.
Would you discount the remaining anything?
Oh, yeah, well, zero. Zero. If you like them so much, you keep them.
Would you discount what was the question?
The question is, you got, let's say, $5 million in receivables. Okay, $1 million is less than 180 days. $4 million, God forbid, is more than 180 days. You like them or you keep them, huh?
You can sell that debt.
Oh, yeah, you can. There are people that will pay 5, 10, 12 cents.
There's people who collect.
Yeah, and they'll collect one way or another.
And you're better off getting the 5, 6, 7 cents than...
Yeah, unless you want to go into the knee breaking business. I was just reminded of something several years ago. This is before we had boxing. We had a guy that kind of looks like you, who was a bodyguard from Russia or Ukraine or whatever, and we had a little teeny Indian guy who wouldn't say shit if it was in his mouth. And the you, I didn't see any of this. I'm only fine after the fact. The you on the third or fourth day was pushing the little shit around and bullying them, and he's just taking it. Then on graduation night, when everybody, for those of you that haven't been drinking, you're going to be, I'm not telling you to drink more. You're just going to drink more because you don't got to get up, or some of you are taking a plane at 3 or some shit, idiots. But anyway, so the little guy, the you looked across the room at the guy and was saying, "You're lucky it's the last night," because as he's walking to the bathroom, the thunderbox, the little guy came up behind him and clocked him right here, knocked him down, knocked him out. Okay, and he bounced his forehead on the fucking, okay. And and our security guard, we got the little guy out of the castle quick because we knew when the you was going to wake up, he was going to ask us, who hit me? And but so we got him out. But then on our first Zoom call, as it turned out, the pictures were together, and it's like you can't see who's next to you, but it's like they were looking at each other. Oh shit! But the little guy, of course, now the story, the legend is he hit him with a fucking poker. None of that shit happened. Okay, those pokers right there, those big heavy things. They didn't hit him with but it was funny. Okay. Yes, sir.
Other than them checking out the deals and the due diligence.
Who's them?
The board. So if it's an under $2 million deal, the board is going to do the due diligence.
No, the $2 million is not in. It could be a $5 million deal, depending on the makeup of the acquisition. Your board can do it. They could do it. You're going to have to sign a deal that they're not liable. So if they make a mistake, they're not liable. They'll want that, and it's right. They're not in the audit or due diligence business anymore. But they can do it depending on the asset. Now, if you've got a purchase that's got 5 offices, then you bring in the accountants. And just for your edification, when people do a due diligence, this is before an audit. This is not an audit. They're only checking every 5th invoice. They're only checking every 10th paper. They don't check every single. They just look for fact patterns and trends. Either the trends are legitimate or the trends aren't legitimate. But I mean, it could be, roughly speaking, say $2 million. But for sure, $1.5 million deal. I mean, your board can do this asleep, and they can get it done quicker.
You go through the whole thing without bringing outside accountants and lawyers.
No, I mean, not the whole. You can do your first acquisition if it's $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million without outside accountants. I like to bring in the lawyers to cover my ass. Although your in-house lawyer will be able to do it, but I like to cover have the lawyers because too many fucking mistakes get made. Accountants, I'm not demeaning the accounting profession, but you'll have enough expertise because a due diligence isn't just accounting numbers, looking at numbers. The industry expert is seeing what are their policies, what do the customers say, let's say it's a medical practice, is the doctor a wacko? Is there pending litigation from him squeezing the tits of his fucking patients? We had a dentist here about 10, 12 years ago that was fucking about every third of his patients. Putting them under for the teeth. And the
He was having a blast.
yeah, well, yeah, he was, yeah. It was a Romanian. The Romanian said that, I just want to point it out in case you missed it, No, just wait. And so, but your accountants will be able to do the due diligence, and it also engages them. You want your board to be involved so they feel engaged. Now, one of the things you're going to get is you have to keep your board apprised of what's going on every 3 to 6 weeks. And there's an email that covers the highlights. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because you feel embarrassed because you haven't accomplished more. Well, they have done deals. They know how long it takes to do deals. So they'll understand, and you send them an update. This is the update. And then once you're in it, you've had the board meeting, they told you to go after these 3 acquisitions, then you still send them an update. Okay, this is where we are. I'm on site.
Have you sent it to them to do the due diligence before the board meeting?
No. After.
Just after they've
yes,
right,
yes, after the board meeting. And when the guys and the gals will feel engaged, and don't expect a guy that lives in Miami, Florida, to go do an acquisition in Kansas City, but you will, you're going to have at least one board member. I said this the first day, that likes to go boots on the ground. His grandkids are grown. He can only take so much of his old lady a week. So, and they go. And it's quite remarkable. And walking the facilities or the things you're going to purchase with 1 or 2 guys that are experienced is like magic. You listen to them, the questions they ask, the things they look for. I mean, it's like magic. And don't discount that. Don't be so busy you can't do that. Just as Peter said, somebody asked him in that group, well, how many of the meetings you went to? And he said, every minute. Have group piss breaks. I forgot to say that. We're gonna have a piss break. You don't let them go out taking a piss. We're gonna have group piss breaks.
With who?
No. Wherever. Your team, the guys that are there to support you. We'll all take a piss in about 10 minutes. Nobody going out talking. Because only bad shit's going to happen. Like one guy's going to say, that's fat Goomba. I mean, in the old days, we just cut his throat now. No. Group piss breaks.
Remember to hire a gal then.
Huh? Well, no. Well, the gals go and piss not where you piss, but they go bathroom breaks same time. Yes, sir.
Spies like Carnegie had, spies.
Oh, well, I had a full-time, I had at least one full-time private investigator on my team all the time, ex-FBI, and I had another DEA.
That's expensive.
Yeah, well, of course it is. But I was, you get what you pay for.
Company paid for it, right?
Yeah, with a company. Not like you're spending the company money on. No.
How do you get the money out?
Huh?
How do you get the money out?
But the 2 PIs that I had, were just, they saved me a lot of heartache. They found shit. And this is, a lot of this was before the internet and then towards the early days of the internet. But just like I said, one of the gurus type his name in and just type pedophile. John Jones pedophile. John fraud. Malfeasance. Doom. Page after page after page.
That's scary.
Oh, also do it on your lawyers. Oh. Okay, your own team you do this with too. Because just because you ask them, is there anything in your background that could preclude us getting the finance? And they say, of course not. And then I type up in his name, says, raped 4 or 5-year-olds and shit.
Whoa.
And then the excuse they use is, I didn't think it was germane to what we're doing. Rape of 4 or 5-year-olds? Well, yes, it is germane. I'm being sarcastic now. But they'll say, well, I didn't think it, was
There's
important.
companies that you can pay like a one-time deal to check them.
Oh, yeah, you can do that, but you can also do it on the internet. You can get a law student, like I told you. I mean, pay him, the person, the group that has the most information always wins. Always, not most of the time, always wins. Information is key. Now, I was saying the cloud 25 years ago, but I wasn't referring to the cloud that we've got now. And I'm not sure other than I think it's a storage facility, someplace in cyberfuck, someplace. That's about all I know about the cloud. But there's databases now that are incredible. I mean, they're databases. Now, I'm not suggesting, we haven't, but I know of people that have hacked into federal databases to get information. Because it's not that, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, apparently it's not that hard to hack in if you're, a big-time hacker, which I can't believe that the governments are so fucking stupid.
Pay so much for cybersecurity?
Yeah, but that's why cybersecurity is hot. Yes, sir.
Can the board overturn your decision how you run the company?
Remember, the agenda. The only way, now remember, let's say you have 9 members on the board. Legitimately, you think 5 to 4 votes are the things that pass. Remember, I already told you, all the votes are 100%. But let's say that the board lies to you, does a Chicago deal, and they vote against the whole thing, and then they add an agenda, there's a, what else have, miscellaneous, removing you as from the board. Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't say fine, but I mean, after the violence is over, then you have your lawyers send out the notice for an EGM, Extraordinary General Meeting. And I know a few of you are going to get tossed out by your board this way. This is the way you're going to get back. EGM. And you send out notice to the directors. You send one to yourself, and it's all receipt signed. What do you call it?
Notarized.
No, well, you got to sign it when they bring it to the mail.
Certified.
Yeah, certified. It's all certified, and you send it out to the 8. And there's only one thing, it's EGM, Extraordinary General Meeting for so-and-so company, board meeting, you give them the proper notice, 2 weeks, 10 working days. There's going to be EGM in Chicago, 12 noon, whatever, the address. And then you list the agenda. There's only one item in the agenda. New board, replacement of board. And then you put the slates or your recommendations, who you're going to vote for. And their names aren't there. And they won't even show up to the board meeting. And then you wait the 2 weeks, you're there, and you put in a new board because the shareholders control the company. The board governs it. But there's going to be 2 or 3 of you that get...
So if they fire you, they just fire themselves, right?
Correct. Except in Mexico. Except
they know that?
Of course they know it. But sometimes they think that you're not going to have, sometimes they think that you're not going to have any balls and you're not going to fight.
Why not?
Well, thank you. Gracias. That's exactly the attitude you should have. Why not? Why wouldn't you fight for your dream? Some kids don't. That's where we are in society today. Some kids just walk away with their tail between their legs and, I'll do it again. It was Mr. Peña was right, it's pretty easy. What a waste of fucking, humanity, in my opinion. But yeah, some don't fight. But when they do that, they know they've just cut their head off. But sometimes you're in the midst of deals, and what they're really threatening is they're going to go to the deals, they're going to bust the deals up, and because the board's going to move as a unit, we're going to do the deal, and we don't need the kid. It's not always the kid, but the kid. So sometimes that works. But then you sue the bank and everybody for tortious interference with a contract, and you get an injunction, and then they fall to shit. But that costs money. Yeah. But then they fall to shit. Then they run they run for the hills. But that's all, it's not even chess, it's fucking checkers, really. But as long as you have 51 they can throw you off the board. You just have to install a new board, as long as you have 51%. But now let's say some of you, let's take the gangsters, okay, with their ponytails. Okay, now let's say the rest. Let's just say you're doing one. I know you're doing different deals, but let's just say you're on one deal, and the board has, and between the two of you have 70%, and the board members have 30% ownership.
He splits with the board and I split. That's why you don't like family in.
I got it.
And I've seen brother against brother, mother against son. I love when mothers turn on sons. I mean, it's a sexual experience for me. I mean, oh, fuck. Because they drop the little shit hit out of her, and then when she slashes his throat, I mean, I get erotic. I mean, just thinking about that shit, you know. And, but yeah, so you have 70, and the board has 30, but 30 and 35,
60.
and one of the Goombas is going.
No, I'll take 20, but I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah, that's why. That's exactly why. Now, you can put your stock in a voting trust. So, you know, that you always have to vote together. There's ways around that. Then you can always do a Romanian deal, you know, which is different. Okay, thanks, you two.